So in today's lecture, we will discuss first of all what are nuclear forces. The forces which are active between nucleons. Nucleons, what are nucleons? Protons and neutrons are nucleons. So after the establishment of proton-neutron theory of the nucleus, so it was thought that holds the nucleons together in a very small space of size. Size of the nucleus is around 10 raised to power minus 15 meter. So this is a very small size. So the question came into mind due to this nature of the nucleons. As we already know that protons are positively charged, and according to Coulomb's law, they should repel each other due to similar charges carried by them. All the protons are positively charged, and according to Coulomb's law, the protons can repel each other, and neutrons are already a neutral particles. So we can think that the positive charge is there, and according to Coulomb's law, the positive charges can repel each other. So how the existence of that nucleus come? Because positive charge can repel each other, but in a nucleus, protons and neutrons can combine together to form a nucleus. So we will study about this. So existence of nucleus is there, but if we can consider only the positive charge is there, then the existence of nucleus is not possible. So in the beginning, there are many studies about the existence of the nucleus. So also it was thought that it is not a reality in the beginning. It was thought that there exist two types of forces in the nucleus. First one force is the repulsive force due to the same charges carried by the protons, because protons can repel each other. So the repulsive force can act between protons. And the second one is the gravitational attractive force due to masses of the protons. Both the protons have some mass, and some due to masses, gravitational force or attraction is also there. So the nucleus is stable. So this is the old theory. This is old theory, and this is not possible because gravitational attraction force is greater than the Coulomb's force. They can thought about that, but in actual practice, when we can find out the magnitude of these two forces, it was find out that Coulomb's force is much more greater than the gravitational force of attraction. Coulomb's forces of repulsion is much more greater than the gravitational force. Means gravitational forces are very less. That is 10 raised to power 36 times than that of the attractive forces. So the repulsive forces, gravitational forces, gravitational forces which are act as a attractive forces, but the repulsive forces are due to the proton. The same charge is there. Same charge means the repulsive forces are there. So that repulsive forces are very large, known as the Coulomb's forces. Coulomb's repulsive forces that are very large. They are 10 raised to power 36 times higher than that of the gravitational forces. So we can say that a new force called the nuclear force was then postulated, and we will discuss about this. So the old theory is totally failed here, and we are considering some new forces which are nuclear forces. These forces can act between the nucleons. What are nucleons? Protons and neutrons are nucleons. So some nuclear forces is present in between the nucleons, and this force is called nuclear force. So the nuclear force was assumed to be attractive force, and its magnitude is greater than the Coulomb's repulsive force. The nuclear forces are highly complex in nature and are different from both of the gravitational and electrostatic forces. Gravitational force and or also we can say that Coulomb's forces. So these forces are very different and complex from the previous one, gravitational and electrostatic forces. Now we can study about what are nuclear forces and how it happens. So the electrostatic force between the two charged particles is due to the exchange of photons is there. When we can say that photons are exchanged between two particles, that means the electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion is there. But in gravitational force, we can say that the exchange of gravitons are there. Due to gravitational forces, gravitons are exchanged. Now, in the next nuclear forces, in 1936, a Japanese physicist Yukawa predicted that the nuclear forces must arising because of some continuous exchange of particles between the nucleons. So this is very important. So this is the continuous exchange of particles between the two nucleons. Nucleons may be a neutron or proton. Nucleons may be a proton, proton is also there. Nucleons may be a neutron, neutron is also there. So in the diagram here, we can consider only one neutron and one proton is there. So there is a continuous exchange of particles between these two nucleons. Continuous exchange of particles between these two nucleons means neutron and proton can exchange some particles in between them. So here assume that the nucleons, protons and neutrons could be held together if they share these particles with each other. So these shared particles are also named as mesons. So neutron or proton may exchange between them mesons, which can bind them together. So these particles, mesons, later these particles were detected and were found to have a mass of 270 times the mass of the electrons. So their mass is 270 times larger than the mass of an electron. So mesons with meson have all charges. Positive mesons are there, negative charges there, and a neutral have also been detected. So three types of mesons are there: positive, negative, and neutral, which are exchanged between a neutron and proton. Neutron proton in between exchangement is by all three types of mesons: positive, negative, and neutral. The theory which is contribution of Yukawa is now known as the Yukawa theory, and also we can say that the meson theory of nuclear forces between the nucleons. So according to this theory, nucleons consist of some sort of common core surrounded by a pulsating cloud of pi mesons. So in a diagram, we can find out a neutron and proton is there in the center in dark in color, but a dotted cloud is there around the neutron. Dotted cloud is around a neutron and a dotted cloud is also around a proton. And that dotted cloud is known as a pi mesons. Pi mesons all spread all over that nucleons, maybe proton or maybe neutron. So these mesons are supposed to rapidly jump back and forth between the nucleus. One meson may be jump from a neutron to a proton and one meson jump from a proton to a neutron. So jump back and forth between these nucleons means they can jump from neutron to proton or maybe from proton to neutron. Means mesons are shared between neutron and protons. So this is the main basic thing of this theory. The pi mesons are exchanged or shared between the two neutrons, which can combine them together. So these pi forces, pi meson forces, can act between these two neutrons. So there are some few points of this theory. First one is All nucleons consist of identical cores surrounded by a cloud of mesons. All nucleons means neutrons, protons, all they have a cloud of surroundings from a pi mesons. Pi mesons are always present around in between that cloud. That cloud is always present around the neutron or maybe a proton. And these pi mesons, second point is mesons may be neutral or carry either a charge. Mesons may be neutral, positive or negative charge is there on these mesons. There are three types of mesons are there. Neutral, positive charge and negative charge are there. The difference between proton and neutron is supposed to be in the composition of their respective meson clouds. The difference between the proton and neutron is only depend upon the composition of their respective meson clouds. Suppose positive mesons are there in that cloud, and sometimes negative mesons are present in that cloud. So proton and neutron can be different from their all around cloud which is present all over that nucleon. So that decide whether it is a neutron or whether it is a proton. So charge means for pi positive or pi neutral may decide the proton or neutron. The forces that act between one neutron and another neutron means force between neutron and also between force between proton are the result of only exchange of neutral mesons between them. So the exchange of neutral meson means pi naught meson, here denoted by pi naught. Pi naught meson is neutral meson. So the force between neutron or between proton is only due to exchange of neutral mesons. And another thing is force between neutron and proton, or we can say that between proton and neutron is due to exchange of the charged mesons, maybe a pi positive or maybe a pi negative meson between them. So if the same nucleons are there, means neutron or proton, then their exchange between them exchange pi mesons are always neutral. But if different nucleons means one is neutron and another one is proton, then they can exchange the charged mesons, that is pi positive or pi negative between them. We can easily understand this by these examples. First example is a neutron emits pi negative meson and converts into a proton. A neutron n, small n represents the neutron. It emits a pi negative meson and converted into a proton. So neutron is converted into proton by just emitting a pi negative meson. Similarly, in the second example, proton absorbs this pi negative meson and converts again into neutron. If proton can absorb this pi negative meson, then proton will be directly converted into neutron. Similarly, some other cases are there. Proton may be converted into neutron by emitting pi positive meson. And also that neutron is absorbed, that pi positive meson, and converted into a proton. So all these possibilities are there. So these are the examples how proton is converted into neutron and a neutron is again converted into a proton. So the proton and neutrons continuously exchange their nature by absorbing and emitting pi mesons. So proton may be converted into neutron or neutron may be converted into proton by exchanging just pi mesons. Now come to the neutral pi mesons, that is pi naught. Pi naught is also exchanged between a neutron and protons, but proton or neutron does not change their character by exchanging pi neutral pi naught between them. Suppose So exchange between proton and proton, neutron, neutron, pi neutral particle is also there, but they cannot converted into some another state. Means proton will be converted into some another proton by just emitting a pi neutral, pi naught. So here we can find out that P is converted into P dash, means proton will remain as a proton by just emitting a pi neutral particle. And that pi neutral particle when absorbed by the proton is again converted into a proton. So similar situation is with this neutron also. Neutron is converted into some other neutron by just emitting pi neutral particle, and that pi neutral particle when absorbed by a neutron is converted into some another neutron. So in both the cases, proton or neutron is converted into a new state after emitting or absorbing a pi neutral meson. So this is all about how the nucleons are held together in between the nucleus. This is only due to the exchange of pi mesons between them. So this is only about the exchange of pi mesons between the nucleons. So another one analogy is there. Analogies we can simply, if we cannot understand the above theory, we can just understand from here or just taking a basic example like that. Nucleons, we are just considering the two nucleons as two dogs. Two dogs are there. We are considering them as two nucleons. One dog is a proton and another dog is a neutron. Two dogs are considering as a two nucleons. And mesons are considered as a piece of bone. Piece of bone is act as a meson. So which that piece of bone, each of them is trying to snatch from the another. Two dogs are hungry and they want that the piece of bone they can get from the another dog. So both of the dogs are trying to get that piece of bone, but they are bound together. Both of them take one side of that bone into their mouth and they are attracting towards them, but both of them are attached to that bone. That bone can attach these two dogs. So bone keeps the two dogs bound together. Similar example is there because bone act as a pi mesons. So mesons can be exchanged between these two nucleons, but no one can attract all that mesons towards itself. Some can jump from proton to neutron and some can jump from neutron to proton. So regular exchange of pi mesons is always there. So this is just an example how two dogs are attached together or bound together by a bone. Similarly, two nucleons are bound together by pi mesons in between them. Next is some of the properties of nuclear forces. First one property is very important property, which is nuclear forces are very short range forces. Means nuclear forces can exist only at a very small distance. When the distance between the nucleons is comparable with the size of the nucleus is small. This distance is called the range of the nuclear forces, also called the range of nuclear forces. The range in which these nuclear forces can act. So the distance that nuclear forces, the nuclear forces decreases to a negligible value at a distance of 4.2 into 10 is per minute. 50 meter means 4.2 Fermi. So at this distance 4.2 Fermi, the nuclear forces are regularly decreased or maybe negligible. and act up to 2.2 Fermi. They can act, but when distance is increased up to 4.2 Fermi, then the nuclear force is going to be negligible. Thus, these forces are short range forces, very short distance is there, 2.2, that is around 10 raised to power minus 14 meter. Very short distance is there between the two nucleons. That's why they are called short range forces. The variation of the nuclear force with the distance between the nucleus is also given in the diagram here along x-axis, which is the distance between the two nucleons, and along y-axis, whether the force is repulsive in nature or attractive in nature is there between the two nucleons. As the distance between the two nucleons decreases, if we can decrease the distance between the two nucleons, the nuclear attractive force is increases and becomes maximum at a certain distance shown by a dotted line at 1.5 into 10 is to power minus 15 meter. At this much distance, their attractive forces are maximum. With further decrease in the distance between the two nucleons, this attractive force is going to be decreased regularly. With further decrease, they will come to be attractive force is going to be zero, means there is no any attractive or repulsive force is there at 0.5 in 10 is to power minus 15 meter. When the distance is 0.5 into 10 is to power minus 15 meter, then there is no any attractive or repulsive force can act. But when further we can again the repulsive component can act, means repulsive force can take place between two nucleons so that they cannot combine together or join together. Repulsive force come into existence, so which also avoid the collapsing of the nucleons. So this is all about the nuclear forces. First point, nuclear forces are short range forces, and the second one point is, or second property of nuclear forces, nuclear forces are charge independent. They does not depend upon the charge of the nucleons. In another word, neutron force can also exist. Proton force is there, and also neutron proton interaction are identical in character, and they do not depend upon whether the which type of charge is present on that nucleons. So that's why they are independent of the charge. Experiments on scattering of proton and electrons are also carried out. Suppose we are considering an example. B is just the mirror image of a nucleus C. Protons in a D nuclei is equal to the number of neutrons in C. On the other hand, the number of neutrons in D is equal to the number of protons in C. So the number of neutrons in the one of the element is equal to the number of the neutrons in another one, and the number of protons in another one is equal to the number of neutrons in the another one. So this can be illustrated by taking an example of tritium and a helium. Tritium is 1H3, which is the mirror image of a helium isotope, which is 2He3, the isotope of helium. So the binding energy of a tritium, this is the isotope of hydrogen, and the isotope of helium, 2He3. So binding energy for tritium is 8.49 mega electron volt, and for helium it is 7.72 mega electron volt. So binding energies are different. Each nucleus has 3 nucleons in it. 3 nucleons are present, means protons, but they are bound stronger in tritium than in helium. They are bound together stronger in tritium. Tritium, they are bound at stronger force than that of the helium, because their binding energy in the tritium is high by helium So if we can subtract this binding energy of 8.49 mega electron volt of tritium and binding energy of helium, which is 7.72 mega electron volt, the binding energy difference is 0.77 mega electron volt. So this is due to Coulomb's repulsive force. Coulomb's repulsion between the two protons in helium, as tritium has only one proton is there. In tritium, only one proton is there, but in helium, two protons are there. So if there are two protons, then Coulomb's repulsive force can also act in helium. So that's why its binding energy is less. So next property of the nuclear forces is the nuclear forces are strongest forces. The magnitude of the nuclear force is 100 times that of the electrostatic force. And that electrostatic forces are 10 raised to power 38 times that of the gravitational forces. So we can simply say that the nuclear forces are the stronger one. They are stronger than electrostatic forces and also stronger than the gravitational forces. The nuclear forces are the strongest forces. Next, the fourth property is there. Nuclear forces are spin dependent. Nuclear forces also depend upon the spin. So it has been observed that the force of attraction between the two nucleons having parallel spins means both the spins are up, same spin is there. Then the nuclear force of attraction between two nucleons having parallel spin is stronger than the force of attraction between the two nucleons having anti-parallel spin. If the spin is anti-parallel, their nuclear force is less. If the parallel spins between the two nucleons is there, their attractive force is large. So we can simply say that nuclear forces are spin dependent. They depend upon the spin of the nucleons. Fifth property is nuclear forces are saturated forces. Nuclear forces are saturated to a definite circle. Nuclear forces are saturated in a definite circle. A nucleon can only form bonds with a certain definite number of neighbors and no more. So nucleons are bound together to their neighbors. They can combine but no more than just the fixed number of neighbors, although they may be within the effective range of nuclear forces. So the saturation of nuclear forces stems from the dependence of the total binding energy on the mass number of that particular substance or particular nucleus A is there. A denotes the mass number. Mass number means denote the neighboring situation of that nucleus. Mass number increases means number of protons and neutrons are increased. So their neighboring structure is increased with increase in the number of capital A, that is mass number. So nuclear forces are also saturated to a particular number, definite number of neighbors and not more than that number. So that's why they are saturated to a particular distance, not more than that. That's why they are called nuclear forces are saturated forces. Next one is nuclear forces are non-central. They does not go for a central position, because we have already learned what are central forces. Central forces that forces can act between center of the one body to the center of the another body. The forces between these two bodies is a central force. Non-central means nuclear forces are not central. They can join or repel or attract at any point. Means pi mesons are just exchanged between the two nucleons and they are not as central mesons. Any meson from the outer or inner can exchange or jump from a neutron to a proton. So that's why nuclear forces, we can say that they are non-central in nature. The seventh property is exchange character is there. If there is exchange character because the forces existing between the two nucleons is the result of the exchange of pi mesons between them. So one, suppose our nucleons are protons and neutrons. Suppose we have a proton, it can exchange a pi meson and convert it into a neutron. Similarly, a neutron can exchange a pi meson and convert it into a proton. So exchange character is also there. Exchange character can be gained by the exchange of pi mesons between them. So pi mesons are regularly exchanged between them and they can exchange the character of that nucleons. Nucleons can change from proton to neutron or from neutron to proton. So this is the exchange character property of the nucleons. These are all the nuclear properties. So there are total 7 nuclear properties. So this is all about the today's lecture about the nuclear properties and nuclear force.